Today we take a look at the Czechoslovakian company CZ, and we'll be reviewing three rifles. Now CZ represents the names Česká zbrojovka, which translates to Czech Armory, and it is a firm that dates back to 1937. The firm later also incorporated a sister company, and that is where the name BRNO came from. So from a hunting perspective, really the two firearm categories in which we're interested in is really the CZ Magnum or CZ 550 rifles, which really gave us a really reliable clone of the Mauser action, and which was, it really came with three fundamental advantages. Number one, it was priced very, very affordable. Secondly, it was exceptionally reliable. And thirdly, it came with a couple of really intricate design mechanisms which made it appealing and very easy to use, and we'll look at that in a little more detail shortly. The sad thing is that CZ took the decision 2-3 years ago to stop making the CZ 550 Magnum action. So large animal rifles in CZ currently have to be bought second-hand on the open market, as they unfortunately decided to move away from those larger caliber rifles. The three calibers we're going to look at today is the 22 long rifle, and the 22 long rifle is really a very cheap rifle to shoot, and presents an ideal opportunity to really have an affordable way to build muscle memory when you're prepared for a dangerous game hunt. It is very easy, very simple to do 5 shots a day at least with this kind of rifle. It builds good muscle memory. You can shoot off sticks with it, you can shoot offhand, do rapid fires, make sure you work that bolt adequately. And it's actually a very useful caliber to have around the house as well, especially if you live in rural areas, to take care of snakes and all kinds of unwanted pests. The second caliber we're gonna look at is the 375 Holland and Holland. The 375 Holland and Holland is really a caliber that has stood the test of time. Became the one battery caliber that people take to Africa. Available in soft and solid. Caliber that is loaded by most manufacturers in the US, so really easy and simple to get a hold of good quality ammunition. The final caliber we're going to take a look at is the 505 Gibbs. The 505 Gibbs is a little bit of a larger caliber. Obviously it packs a punch, and you need a rifle that can handle the recoil. But there are a couple of ways to manage recoil and actually train with this rifle. You'll see the bullet on the far right the round on the far right is actually loaded with a lead bullet. And that lead cast bullet gives you the opportunity to have a very low recoiling round to practice with, and you can load it to have the same area of impact as your commercial ammunition. The load on the left is a Norma African PH 600 grain soft, and that was actually the ammunition utilized in a buffalo hunt. On the front end of the table here, we can look at the two bullets recovered from that buffalo. On the far right, you have the 600 grain soft nose bullet. It was the first shot into that buffalo, quartering away on the front side. Went into the chest cavity, massive destruction to the lungs and heart. As the buffalo turned to run, the second shot, follow-up shot, was that solid on the left, also 600 grain Woodley, but in solid configuration. Went in on the right hand side of the buffalo between the last two ribs, went through the liver, through the left lung, and was found underneath the skin on the far left of the buffalo after actually going through the shoulder blade. So performed really well, and very well constructed. The three rifles we're taking a look at today from left to right follow the same as the ammunition. So on the far left we have the 22 long rifle. It carries a detachable 5-round magazine, has no scope on it, and I use it with open sights to really prepare for African hunting. Next rifle is part of the old C550 Safari Classics. It's the 375 Holland and Holland. It comes with really nice wood, and it has an aim-point red dot sight mounted on it. On the far right we have the CZ 550 Magnum action, and that is the 505 Gibbs. It actually has a New England custom rifle ghost ring sight on the back end of it, so it's an open-sided rifle. Now a couple of things, and we'll look at it in a little bit of closer detail in just a second, but a couple of things that made these rifles very, very popular. Number one is, some people don't even know this, but they all come with a single set trigger. So the trigger on that 505 and 375 actually has the capacity that once you've loaded around in the chamber and you've closed the bolt, you can take the trigger at the back end and just push it forward, and that creates a hair trigger. So if you're doing a long range shot and you really do not want to have trigger pull upset that shot, as you touch that trigger, when you move back, it'll actually fire that round. So it's a nice feature that came standard with all of these rifles. It's not something that you paid extra for. You can see the open sight's very sturdy, very, very robust put on there. I mean, these rifles were made to work, and all over Africa they were called the Crowbar of Africa. So it's a rifle that is very popular today, and it's most probably the rifle, if you use a rifle in a hunting camp, it is highly likely that one of the camp rifles would be a CZ or BRNO rifle. So that brings us to a second characteristic. You'll see that it is a controlled feed action, a clone of the Mauser, and it is a very, very reliable controlled feed action. They were known to be a little rough, new out of the box, but you could slick them up very easily, and over time with use they really become a very nice and slick action. Very, very reliable. And another advantage of buying a rifle from CZ or BRNO is the fact that the receiver has integral scope mount bases milled into it. So you actually just have to buy the rings that correspond to the slots, and they don't move, you know. So it was a very economical way. Once you bought the rifle, you actually got the bases milled into that receiver for free. If we look at the 505 Gibbs, you see the rifle comes with a very sturdy front sight protector. It's cut open at the top so that you have light going in. It also has the front sling on the barrel band so that you don't have a hand in the way of a heavy recoiling rifle. On this specific rifle I had the rear island filled in simply because of the use of the rear cutout in the receiver to carry the ghost ring sight. You'll see that the rifle comes with a bedded action. It's got two recoil lugs. There was a time when CZ took a little bit of flack with stocks cracking, but this was a very good inlaid work. This rifle traveled to Africa, and you can actually see there's a high quality piece of wood here. Very, very nice rifle, easy to carry, functions flawlessly, and as I said, accounted for a really good buffalo hunt back in South Africa. Here we're taking a look at the 375, and very similar. You can see the front side protector moving back. It doesn't have the sling attachment on the barrel. It actually has it on the wood, but far enough to the front. And in this rifle you can actually see the rear sight with a very, very sturdy set of iron mounts, and very, very reliable way to set it up. And then on this specific rifle, as I said, we have the aim point mounted, and it's you know, the way that it's set up is on the rear island you have a slot that fits exactly into a corresponding slot from the scope base into the milled action. And again, you know, this was not a fancy grade rifle. This was just a 550 Safari Classic Series. But again, you can see the wood on this rifle is really nothing to shy away from. Very nice rubber recoil pad, and the corresponding sling attachment at the bottom of the stock there. Very, very functional rifle, and it actually with a straight stock configuration, the recoil on this 375 is really very manageable. Now if we look at the rear of the receiver in a little bit more detail, you can very clearly see the little slot cut in there for that rear scope base. On the far rear you can see two projections on the far back of the action. On the opposite side you can see a very big knob there. It's the actual safety mechanism, and then on this side is the actual bolt release. So a very simple setup that you can do with one hand, get to your safety, and the safety works very simply. You move that safe to the front, it's ready to shoot. You move it to the back, it's on safe. The CZ505 Gibbs was a gift from my wife for my first buffalo hunt, and it carries a very nice engraving on the metal grip cap, really originating from the East African Professional Hunters Association. It says Nectar More, Nectar Meritas, neither fear nor foolhardiness.
Headline.
Daar rechts gaan?
Daar zijn ze. Dat zijn mooi.
Sorry. Weer eens een beetje van natuur.
Zo ben je geweten. Dat is wel geluk, maar
Dus dat is een bleef
dat je enige kans ja, amper gegaan tot die laatste dag.
Ja, maar is die oudste.
Je komt terug met die pad hoor.
Ja? Goed. Baie dankie vir 'n great eerste buffalo.
Hier is wel toen een paar dagen gevat om aan die handen te krijgen, maar dan niet gauw tot die laatste dag.
Nee, en as dit om jy in die reën kom kry. Ja, dit is baie spesiaal, baie dankie.
Welkom.
I hope you enjoyed today's session, and until we meet again, stay safe and happy hunting.